let's get into some picks. Caleb will make you some money. Questionable picks as of late, right? Or was it
What are you
earlier to
talking about?
start?
I balled out last week.
Okay. All right. I knew he'd start with Crow, and he's going to do the pompous English voice here in a second. But you did ball out last week. What did you go last week?
All right, guys. I went 16-7 last week, and my extra best bets paid off because I went 4-1 on the best bets, and so I am now 110-91 on the year, and I'm back above 500, 17-15, baby.
So
So
you have to
we
be
got this.
above 500 plus 10%, though, to cover the juice, right?
52%. 52%. So I'm at 17 divided by 32, I think does cross 52. I'm not doing the math in
Well,
my
I
head, but
would
I
be
think it
more
crosses 52.
confident if you knew your math.
Well, okay. On a scale to 96, that's 51. Yeah, it's 52%. It's 52%. Give me some breaks here, okay? I've hit 52%. I'm making money. So come at me, bro. Let's go. Let's
Hemp
go. Let's hit
House.
it.
Go to the Hemp House, the premier hemp dispensary online with a wide variety, great selection, and strict standards to ensure you only receive the best in CBD or Delta products. Go to Hemp House Chat with 2T's, Hemp House Chat with 2T's.com. All righty here. Let's go with your picks. As we start Alabama, you've got an 11-point favorite, but covering, and the over is 46.5. So you think more than 46? I don't know if these two teams can get together and score more than 46 points.
I think you're stuck on Nick Saban of 2011. I think Alabama alone can score more than 46. I got Alabama covering the. I get it. The spread kind of tricked me for a minute. I'm like, who thinks Kentucky can stay within 2 touchdowns of Alabama at home? Um,
By the way,
but
Travis says, so in football terms, Caleb is coaching a 4-4 team. Great job, Caleb. Way to win a participation award.
okay.
Oh,
I've got Alabama.
I got one of
I've
those
got
from my son. I got one of those in lacrosse for my son when he was a freshman his first year. Would you like me to ship you that? I can send that to you.
I'm turning a profit, guys. Okay, so here we go.
Okay, okay.
All right,
I'm
so
just saying.
Alabama covers at Kentucky. And I got the over in that one, and I think the over because look, Dave, I think Alabama's on a mission now to not just they got to win impressively to get to the playoff, and I think Jalen Milroe, I think Nick Saban's going to try to put him in the Heisman race on purpose.
All right, so South Carolina's a 14-point favorite over Vanderbilt. You've got South Carolina. Is it just as simple as Vandy's just horrible?
I think South Carolina had a tougher opponent last week in Jacksonville State than they have in Vanderbilt this week. And so, yeah, I think South Carolina is going to cover this one. I think it's a no defense game. Vanderbilt has a horrible defense. South Carolina has a horrible defense. South Carolina has Spencer Rattler. This game's going to hit the over. That's my best pick of this, but I think South Carolina is going to cover too.
Michigan, a 4-point favorite at Penn State. You like Michigan? I do not. And I think Michigan is one of the best 2 teams in the country. But with all that's going on, the constant attention to sign stealing and that sort of thing, I think Penn State actually upsets Michigan. This is one of those I tell you I have about every 5 or 6 football seasons that I feel really good about that I would bet my own money. So I've actually got Penn State in an upset. Maybe even would take the money line on that. But I got Penn State winning because too much going on there at
I think Michigan is the most unpredictable team in college football. Eye test, they're
too.
the best team. They have looked like the best team in college football, and they have played the worst schedule in college football. So you don't know what to make of that. And then on top of that, I get what you're saying, Dave. There's all this scandal stuff surrounding them now. I feel like they're going to respond differently. I feel like they are on a mission now. I think it's going to be like, remember Cam Newton when he was playing with the money, with the allegations, and Cam Newton just went off on everybody at Auburn.
Yes.
I think Michigan's going to do that at Penn State. I do think the overhits. I think 44.5 is a little bit too low.
It didn't seem to bother Reggie Bush and that crew as the investigation was ongoing. And he had like a $300,000. Well, nowadays that wouldn't even get you.
It was the stupidest scandal. So he was having his family stay in hotels while they came to see him play. Like how?
Well, they had a real house. I mean, they had a house.
Oh wow. Okay, that was such a stupid
bounce
scandal.
around. South Carolina, a 14-point favorite over.
We just covered
Vanderbilt.
South Carolina.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Michigan, 4-point favorite over Tennessee. So you like Michigan. I like Penn State big. We're going to hold Tennessee and Missouri, but it's on the website if you want to go to offthehooksports.com. As far as your best bets, one is Alabama minus 11 at Kentucky, and then Duke plus 14.5 at North Carolina. Why do you love the Blue Devils, who, by the way, just picked up a monstrously good basketball commitment, I believe?
I know I missed on them with Louisville, but I think it's a little different with North Carolina. One, Duke and UNC is never really a home game for one team because they're like 30 miles away from each other. And I think so. If it's a home game for UNC, it's only because Duke has no football fans to begin with. But I think Duke is going to cover. I like Mike Elko, the coach, and I think UNC is just stumbling down the stretch. And I love Duke's defense. I know Drake May is great, but I just don't think Drake May has enough help. So I think Duke covers.
All right. Colorado money line versus Arizona. You like Colorado. It's an interesting pick.
Yeah, Colorado. I've had a good read on Colorado the last few weeks. I pretty much nailed them every week, and I think they have to win this game if they want a shot at a bowl down the stretch because this will get them to 5 wins, and they got to get a road upset at the end. I think they're going to upset Arizona, who's gotten 2 great upset wins the last 2 weeks. I think it's been emotionally draining for Arizona to get those upset wins. I think going into Colorado, I think Colorado has just enough left in the tank to pull out a shocker in this one.
Okay. Auburn at Arkansas, you like the under at 48.5, and USC at Oregon, you like the over at 73.5. Well, I'm right there with you with the USC Oregon. I mean, man, Southern California, they have, I don't want to say a generationally great offense, which would be along the lines of that Cam Newton offense or LSU's 2019 offense. But they've got a really good offense to be undermined by just inept defense. Why they didn't make that coaching change and they finally did with their DC after the season, I'll never know, because this could be a team that would be competing for a national title. In the end, I think it's going to be a team that's going to struggle to make the college football playoff.
Yeah, and I think let's take the money here for a minute. USC is on the road. It's a Lincoln Riley defense on the road against a Heisman caliber quarterback. Dave, are we sure that Bo Nix himself won't cover 73.5?
So crazy to me to think that Bo Nix is as good as he is. There was a time at Auburn I thought he was washed up and done.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think Oregon, I think the over hits with USC and Oregon. And I think USC, Lincoln, I mean, Caleb Williams is going to score he's going to get his points, right? And, yes. But I think Bo Nix is going to ball out against a terrible USC defense. And at Oregon, I just think this is Oregon wins pretty easily, but I think Oregon wins easily like 62-41 or something like that. So where we doing you want me to do my Tennessee pick?
I want to save your Tennessee pick. Do you want to do it now?
We always save it and then I never actually get to it.
Okay, well go ahead and do it then. Tennessee -2, you like the Vols.
I do like the Vols. I like Tennessee -2 at Missouri. And the reason is, like I said, the line started as a pick'em and moved 2 points to Tennessee. I think that means Luther Burden is more hurt than we think. And can you really bet against with this game when Josh Heupel has dropped 60 on Eli Drinkwitz 2 years in a row? 1 year when he was the underdog at Missouri.
And that really puts the burden on Missouri's defense.
I wanted to make that joke too. So now the over under 58. You got to
take a swing, shoot.
Now here's a great storyline. Missouri 2 years ago was actually the first game where Josh Heupel made the decision to start Hendon Hooker over Joe Milton when they were both fully healthy. Funny enough, and that was where he actually finally decided to go with Hooker full time. Was the Missouri game.
Think that was if you ask the players, that was a monumental game for Tennessee, and that they just kind of really started to believe, whether it was Hooker or not, that was a huge game for Tennessee's program.
And what did he do? He went with Hooker. The players believed, and he made it pretty much clear at that point. That was the first game where by choosing to go with Hooker, he makes it clear Hooker's my starter now and not Joe Milton. And so now it's a chance for Joe Milton to finally get his against Missouri. And so the question becomes offensively, 58.5. Dave, I think the over's hitting. What about you?
I could roll with over. I could roll with over on that for sure.